Muhammadan Rasulullah. All praise, all thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness that there is no God but Him, and that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His messenger and prophet. Today, this inshallah will be my last khutbah for this year. I wanted to begin the khutbah in an unusual way, to review the struggle that I have had. I don't want to say in this past year, I'd say in this past 40 years of trying to be a better person. And I'd like to encapsulate that struggle in a very brief way. I know we don't use visual aids in khutbahs, but I would like you to look at this diagram, to look at the two lines. Ignore the arrowheads, and ask yourself which line is longer. The answer to most of us is quite clear. The bottom line is longer than the top. However, what you have been looking at is a very famous illusion in the world of psychology known as the Mueller-Lyer illusion. The two lines are exactly the same length, but the bottom line seems significantly longer than the top. Let me show it once more, and the reason I am stressing this is because I consider this very simple illusion a metaphor for my spiritual struggle in this life. The dunya seems to me much bigger than it should. I am constantly falling prey to that illusion. Just like the bottom line seems longer than the top, one of my greatest struggles is how to put the dunya, the life of this world, in its proper place. We think of ourselves as logical, rational, but we are prone to so many illusions. We're prone to visual illusions. We are prone to physical illusions. We sit here and we think that we are sitting still. But the fact of the matter is that we are moving at more than 65,000 miles per hour as our planet orbits the sun. But we have the illusion that we are perfectly still. We are prone to intellectual illusions. Let me give you a very simple example. A bat and the ball together, a bat and the ball, cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Think about that for a couple of seconds. Most of us will say, that's easy, 10 cents. That's wrong. If the ball costs 10 cents and the bat costs $1 more, then the bat costs $1.10 and together they're $1.20. The ball costs 5 cents. We're prone to all sorts of illusions. Let me give you another one of my favorites. And this is a very unique one. Whoever has experienced it will know precisely what I'm talking about. You go to swim in the ocean. You put your clothes, your bag, your chair on the beach. You swim for a while and you look up to check on your things, and they're nowhere to be seen. And you look and you realize they're way down there because you have drifted a couple of 100 yards with the current without even realizing it. These illusions, to me, are a metaphor of the spiritual struggle in this life. If there was no one to tell me that these lines are the same length, I would believe the bottom line is longer than the top. If there were not my bags on the beach as a landmark, I would never know I had drifted with the current. One of the miracles of the Quran is that it is not just a book of rules, but it deals with the psychology of the human mind. Our Maker knows that we are prone to illusions, and the Quran guides us so that we do not fall prey to them. And I would be lying to you if I told you I have made significant progress in my struggle against the illusions of this dunya. But in the 40 years I have been fighting the fight, I have come to one very important conclusion, which I will share with you, for you to think about, for me to remind myself, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, that the struggle for goodness is not just about falling prey to temptation or about avoiding temptation. The struggle for goodness is in equal parts about avoiding temptation and avoiding illusion. Avoiding temptation may even be the easier of the two. When the shaitan tempts us, we know it. We can hear him whispering. We feel ourselves weakening and we know when we've given in. When we fall prey to illusion, that is much more dangerous, much more sinister, because we may not even be aware that we have drifted with the current and are no longer anywhere near where we need to be. And when I say that I want to put the dunya in its proper place, I don't want the dunya to seem so big in my eyes. Of course, we know that Islam is a religion of balance. I don't mean we turn our back on the dunya, we become ascetics and monks. We know that. The Quran tells us, وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Seek in what God has given you, the abode of the hereafter, and do not forget your portion of this life. But somehow, I never seem to be in need of reminding about my portion of this life. That's not my struggle. I can always remember that. I need reminding about the illusion of the dunya being too big in my eyes, mattering too much. Like the Quran says, بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. Verily, you value the life of this world, but the hereafter is much better and much longer lasting. And this is in the first scrolls, the scrolls of Ibrahim and Musa. And so, how does the Quran protect us from falling prey to these illusions? And again, I believe, and Allah knows best, that the struggle for goodness is in equal parts resisting temptation and resisting illusion. And I sometimes equate those in my mind with our prayer in the Fatiha, every prayer, for God to preserve us from being on the path of غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. Al-Maghdubi alayhim, the ones who have earned God's anger, perhaps because they knowingly fall into temptation. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, those who have gone astray, perhaps because they have fallen to illusion. The Quran talks about this phenomena of illusion with two terms, al-ghurur and at-tazyin. Ghurur means illusion, and tazyin means beautification. You take something ugly and you decorate it to make it falsely beautiful. And so the Quran is telling us that one of the ways of the shaitan, يَعِدُهُمْ وَيُمَنِّيهِمْ وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. In Surah An-Nisa, the shaitan holds out promises to them and fills them with desire. Here's the temptation. وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. But the shaitan does not promise them except false illusion. The Quran in Surah Luqman is telling us, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ وَاخْشَوْا يَوْمًا لَا يَجْزِي وَالِدٌ عَنْ وَلَدِهِ وَلَا مَوْلُودٌ هُوَ جَازٍ عَنْ وَالِدِهِ شَيْئًا. People, heed a day, heed your Lord, and fear a day that no parent will be able to avail his child, and no child will be the least avail to his parent. The norms that we are used to, the illusion of this world, that I can help you, that you can help me, no more. Inna wa'ad Allahi haqq. The promise of God is true. فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ. So do not let this world beguile you with its illusion, and do not let the great deceiver deceive you. And here, shaitan being referred to as the great deceiver, not a deceiver in terms of a liar, a deceiver in terms of an illusionist, one who will make things seem different than they are. So the Quran is telling us over and over with these examples to avoid the ghurur of this dunya, the illusion of this dunya. And in Surah Muhammad, أَفَمَنْ كَانَ عَلَى بَيِّنَةٍ مِّن رَبِّهِ كَمَنْ زُيِّنَ لَهُ سُوءُ عَمَلِهِ وَاتَّبَعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. Is he who relies on a clear sign from his Lord like one whose evil has been beautified in his eyes, and then they follow their own lusts and desires? The Quran is that marker on the beach that tells us if we have drifted with the current. If the beach was all white sand, we would never know we have drifted. We look up, our clothes aren't there. You need that marker, that landmark. I need that marker, that landmark. The Quran is the truth telling us that one line looks longer than the other, but that is not true. This world is not as big as it seems. The anxieties of work and of home and of children and of the daily struggle for life that occupies so much of our attention, it is not nearly as big as it seems. And so in Surah Al-Ankabut, the Quran comes again and tells us, وَعَادًا وَثَمُودَ وَقَدْ تَبَيَّنَ لَكُم مِّن مَّسَاكِنِهِمْ. And remember Ad and Thamud, and you can see the clear signs of their buildings, of their fate. وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُمْ فَصَدَّهُمْ عَنِ السَّبِيلِ وَكَانُوا مُسْتَبْصِرِينَ. But the shaitan, the evil one, made their deeds decorated and beautiful to them through illusion, and so he blocked them from the straight path. وَكَانُوا مُسْتَبْصِرِينَ. While they have the intelligence and the insight. So if they are mustabsirin, if they have an intelligence and an insight, how did that happen? Just like it happens to you and me. We have intelligence, we have insight, but the bottom line looks longer than the top because we are prone to illusion. And so the shaitan, with his illusion, beautifies to them their evil deeds. And in Surah Al-An'am, فَلَوْلَا إِذْ جَاءَهُمْ بَأْسُنَا تَضَرَّعُوا وَلَكِنْ قَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. When the suffering reached them from us, why did they not learn humility? On the contrary, their hearts became hardened, and Satan made their sinful acts seem alluring to them. Do we not see this phenomena every single day? Every time we listen to the news, we are now bombarded with people who are killing and hurting and terrorizing and murdering and beheading and putting it on videos, thinking that they are helping Islam, thinking that they are pleasing Allah. And my only explanation is precisely this. زَيَّنَ قَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. Their hearts became hardened, embittered. وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And Satan made what they are doing seem good to them. But we know that just seeming good to somebody, that doesn't make it the truth. Surah Al-Kahf tells us الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. Those whose striving in this world has gone astray, and they think that they are doing good. So we need to be on guard, not just from temptation, but on guard from the illusion of falling into so many pitfalls that this world has to offer. I say what I've said. I ask Allah to forgive me and to forgive you. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Well, there's some good news and some bad news. The bad news is, even after knowing that the lines are the same length, when you look at them, when I look at them, the bottom line still seems longer than the top. I can't break the illusion. Even when I know for sure, I've pulled out a ruler, I've measured the lines, but the bottom line still looks longer than the top. Even though I know and believe that there is an akhirah, and that it is bigger and better than this dunya, I can't seem to break the illusion. The dunya still seems too big in my eyes. I still care too much about what happens at work, or what happens at home, or what happens on the news, or what happens. Can't put the dunya in its proper place. That's why Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said that people are asleep, and when they die, they wake up from their slumber. And I liken this struggle of trying to break the illusion to trying to realize that you are dreaming while you're asleep. When we dream, it all seems so real. But what is the good news? The good news is, even if the bottom line looks longer to me, once I know the truth, I can make proper decisions. If somebody were to tell me that I will be punished for the wrong answer or rewarded for the right answer, and then asks me about the lines, I'll say they're the same length, even though I see the bottom line longer. Because I know that there is a bigger truth than what I see and what I perceive. And that is the good news. That it's okay. The world doesn't have to seem so small to me. I don't need to be able to achieve what the Prophet ﷺ said, كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر سبيل. Be in this world as if you are a stranger or a passerby. That is how little the world mattered to him ﷺ. Because he was not prone to the illusion. He was above it. Me, I know I'm not. But once I know the truth, I can still try to behave the right way despite being prone to the illusion. And the Quran is dealing with our psychology as human beings and giving us the truth. So in Surah Al-Hadid, let's share this verse together. The verse begins, i'lamu, know. What a powerful beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, i'lamu, know this. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما وفي الآخرة عذاب شديد ومغفرة من الله ورضوان وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. Know that the life of this world is nothing but play and amusement, pomp and boasting, and competing among yourselves to increase riches and children. Its parable is like the rain, the growth of which comes out and delights the hearts of the farmers. But soon it withers, and you will see it become yellow, and it becomes dry and crumbles away. But in the hereafter, there is a grievous punishment and forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His good pleasure. And what is the life of this world except the enjoyment of an illusion. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. The next verse in Surah Al-Hadid then tells the believers, سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Then race to this forgiveness from your Lord. And then another very powerful set of verses to show us that becoming free from the illusions is not just about gaining in the hereafter. It's about gaining in this dunya as well. It's about a serenity and a tranquility and a freedom from anxiety and from worry and from depression and from despair that comes when we see the world bigger than it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after telling us that this world is an illusion, addresses one of the biggest illusions, that we are somehow in control. ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير. There does not strike a calamity in this world or in yourselves, except that it has been recorded in a book before we bring it forth, and verily that is easy for Allah. لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. So that you do not grieve over what you have missed or take excessive joy in what you have gained, for verily Allah loveth not the vainglorious boaster. So that becoming free from this illusion that we are in control, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, whatever happens has been decreed before it is brought forth. Know this. Why? لِكَيْ لَا تَأْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ. So that you do not grieve over that which you missed. To avoid the dreaded, if only. If only I had done this. If only I had done that. And wringing our hands and shedding our tears. There is no if only. That's an illusion. And that is why it is part of Islamic lore. لَوْ تَفْتَحُ بَابَ الشَّيْطَانِ. لَوْ, if only, opens the door to shaitan. The beginning, the end, the middle, all of the dominion is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have been created in such a delicate way to be prone to temptation, to be prone to illusion, and to be tested as to how well we will resist both. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us all in fighting temptation, in resisting illusion, in realizing His grandeur and His glory. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.